Hi guys, this is Rosa Kelly. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm here with a mini album tutorial. This is my school days album using my very own digital paper collections. And I did share with you this book before, so I'm not going to go too much on detail. But I do want to say, if you watched the previous video showing you this book, you knew that I kind of lost my phone, and I lost with that a bunch of material, tutorials, projects, pictures, and thanks to the angels out there, I was able to find my phone and it came back to me. I'm just so grateful. I do have another phone on the way because I already ordered a new one, but at least I can recover all of my material and I'm just so excited. So here is the album tutorial for this book. I hope that you guys enjoy it, and don't forget to visit my website if you like the paper collection. I will leave the link on the description box down below. Also, you can find in there a PDF tutorial of this book. But without further ado, here is the tutorial. Okay, so for the construction of the book, I'm going to start with 8 pieces of 8 inches by 10 inches heavyweight cardstock. This is 110 pounds. And then I'm going to need 5 pieces of 7 inches by 2.5. So I'm just going to cut this at 7 and then at 2.5. And then we're gonna need 5 of these pieces. So then I'm going to use one of the 8 by 10 pieces and I'm going to score at 4 inches, and I'm only going to score up here on the top because I just want to find the center of this page. And then I'm going to turn this to the 10-inch side and I am going to score at 7 inches. So for this one, I'm just going to score all the way through. And then this is going to be basically your template for all the rest of the pieces. So then I'm going to bring back my paper cutter here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut from this top mark that we did here at the 4-inch to the end of each one of these score lines. So I'm just going to line this up here on my paper cutter and just connect those 2 points, and then we're going to cut, and then same thing for the other side, and we're going to cut, and that way we have the basic shape of the house. Now I'm going to use this one as a template, and I'm going to cut the rest of my papers here. So here I have my 8 pieces, and now we're going to work on the hinges. So those pieces that we cut ahead are going to be our hinges. So we are going to place these along the 2.5-inch side on the scoreboard, and we're going to score at 1 and at 1.5. Okay, so 1 and 1.5, and we are going to do the same for all 6 pieces. So then we're going to fold along the score lines, and you're gonna have this little U-shaped piece, and I'm going to do the same for all of these pieces here. Okay, so I have all of my pieces, and these are actually 5 pieces, not 6, sorry. So I do have 6 of these that I'm going to use for the pages, and then I have 2 extra that are going to just reinforce my covers, because this book is not gonna take a cheaper cover like I normally would do. And so what we're gonna do is just join these pages together by using these the hinges that we just created. So the way we're gonna do that is we are going to add some glue here on the hinge. Now I'm going to leave about 1/8 of an inch space, which is not going to get glued. So I'm just going to add my glue right on this side like that, and then when I add my page, you will see just a little bit of space in there, and this is just so when we move our pages through, they can open a little bit more flat. Okay, so you're gonna have that space, and there you go. So now we're just gonna glue this and press down, and then we are going to add the next page here. So I'm just going to glue this one on the next hinge. So I'm going to do the same thing, add my glue right on this 1 inch, and I'm leaving a little bit of a void space in between the 1/2 inch and where I'm adding my glue. So I'm just gonna place this one right there like so, and then you can see how these two are joined now together. So we're gonna add the next hinge. So this one I'm just gonna glue it completely on top of the other one right there, and I'm making sure they both line up here on the top or on the sides. Okay, and there you go. So now we have that one added, and I'm ready to glue my next page. So same thing, I'm going to add my glue and leave just a little bit of space, okay, from the back to where the page is going to go. So just about 1/8 of an inch, something really small. And there you go. So now we're gonna press this down here, and then I'm going to add the next hinge. So then I'm going to add the last one here. So we're just gonna do the same. And I'm just going to add that right there like so. Now we have the 2 extra pieces, and these 2 are basically just going to reinforce my covers. So I am going to place these pieces in between on top of the hinge. Okay, so you have your cover and your hinge, and then we're going to add this one right on top just to secure your hinge in place and make the cover a little bit stronger than the rest of the pages. So I'm just going to glue and line this up here, and there you go. And then we're gonna do the same with the last one. So since the last one has the hinge on the inside, I'm just gonna add this one on the inside. Okay, so I think this one goes like that. And we're just going to line this up right here. There you go. And then what I'm going to do is just make sure that my front and my back cover are completely lined up. Sometimes it might be a little bit different because the way you cut it. So you can see here that I have just like a little hair off in there. So I am going to make sure it looks nice and even. So I'm just gonna cut it right here like that. So now for the closure, I'm going to use a piece of 5 inches by 4 inches, and I'm going to score at 1 inch and at 3 5/8, which is a little bit over 3.5. Okay, and then we are going to fold along the score line. So then we're going to add this little piece. So on the 1 inch side, we're going to add some glue on the inside here, because this is going to be facing in to the book. So I'm going to add some glue right here, and I'm going to attach these to the back of the last page, and I'm going to make sure that it's center, so that is where that piece is going to go. And I'm just going to now press down right there. And then when we close these, we are going to secure these here on the front. That way our spine is going to stay nice and strong as well. So I'm going to add a magnet here for the closure. So I'm just going to first round my corners, because I think it will look a little bit nicer. And I'm just going to do that one too. Okay, and then I'm going to add a magnet in there. So I'm using 10mm by 2mm magnets that I get on Amazon. And I always get a lot of questions on what magnets I use. So I use either this one, which is nice and strong. It is a little bit bulky, so I only use it for some pages. And then I also use this 10 by 1mm, which is really thin, and it's not as strong obviously, but if you need it for like really flat pages, if you don't want the bulk, I just layer like 2 or 3, not layer, but like put them in a row, and it just, they get a little bit stronger that way. But for the cover, I'm going to use this one here. So I'm just attaching one magnet right there on the center, and then I'm going to place the second one and place this magnet with the sticky side up. That way it can connect to my page. Now I'm going to make sure this is stand up. Oops, I'm just gonna grab the cover. Oh, this is the cover. Okay, so I'm just gonna place these right here. So now we're gonna work on the pages. So for page 1, I have 2 pieces of 7.5 by 7 inches, and I'm going to score at 1/2 inch along the 7-inch side, and I'm going to do the same here for both pieces. And then we're going to fold along the line here, and we're going to add some double-sided tape. You can also do this with glue if you like. And I'm just gonna add my tape right here. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same on this other one right here, like so. And we're going to add these onto our base page. So the page 1 is going to be here, your inside front cover. That's what I'm going to call your page 1. So I'm going to peel off the tape. Oops. Okay, there you go. And I'm going to line this up on the top here. So not on the top, but you know where the before this little triangular shape starts. So I'm going to put it right here. So on this one, I don't know if you can see on the video, but this is the first one that I did as a template. So I do have a score line in there, which kind of helps me guide where I'm gonna put it. So you're just gonna wanna put it along the top, and then I'm going to open this up and place the second one along the bottom. Okay, so you just want to make sure these two are lined up, and I'm going to place this one right here like this. Okay, and I'm just going to press down, oops, right there. And there you go. So that is our first page. This is gonna close up like that. And then let's move on to the next page. So for this page, we're going to use 2 pieces of 4 3/4 by 7 inches. And we are going to score at 1/2 inch and at 3/4 inches along the 4 3/4 inch side. So I'm going to do the same for both. And then we are going to again fold along the score lines, and we're going to add our double-sided tape on the 1/2 inch sections. So we're just gonna do the same here for both pieces. So then we are going to place these pieces onto each side of the base page. So I'm going to first start on the right side, and I'm going to line these up just like this. And then you want to stand up your gussets. Here we have a 1/4 inch gussets, so you just want to stand that up. And then we're going to place the other piece here. So this one is just going to go lined up right on top of the base page in there. So I'm going to peel off my tape and just line it up here. Okay, so we're going to press right there, and then we're going to stand up that gusset as well. So then we have here a gatefold page in there, and then on the inside of the gatefold I'm going to build a pocket. So I'm going to use one of my leftover pieces of paper here, and this one measures 4 by 8.5. So I'm just going to score at 1/2 inch on 3 sides to create these pockets. So I'm just rotating and scoring, and then I'm going to cut the corners out to avoid that bulk on the bottom. And then I'm just going to fold along the score lines, and then we're just going to glue these onto our page here. So we're gonna put this on the bottom, and we're going to center this a little bit as well. So I'm just going to line it up here on the bottom and center it, because this will be smaller than the back of your base page. So I'm just gonna press down. So now we have here a pocket on this page number 2, and now we're ready to move on to the next page. So for page number 3, I'm going to start with 2 pieces of 8 by 5.5, and I'm going to score along the 8 inch side at 1/2 inch, and I'm going to do the same for these 2 pieces. And then I'm going to use a piece of 4.5 by 7.5, and we are going to score these along the 7.5 inch side at 1/2 inch as well. So then we're going to fold along the lines, and I'm just gonna put that on the sides, and then I'm gonna fold along the line here and here as well. And we're just going to add these into our page. So I'm going to add the 2 larger pieces on each side of the base page. So I'm going to start with this one here, and we're just gonna add some glue. You can do this with tape as well. I'm just gonna do it a little bit faster. So I'm going to just add these on the center here, and I'm going to add the other one on the opposite side. And again, I'm going to make sure that is center up and down and basically lined up with this side right there. So I'm just gonna place this one right here like so, and I'm just gonna press down right there like that. So now we have our page, and then I wanted to add this one on top here as like a closure for this. So I'm going to line this up on the bottom here and then glue this on the top. So I'm just going to do this with glue one more time, And so I'm just going to make sure it's lined up here on the bottom, and I'm also centering these on the page, and then I'm just gonna glue these up here. And there you go. So that is going to be our page number 3, and let's move on to the next one. So for this next page, I'm going to use 4 pieces of 7 inches by 3 3/4, and we are going to score at 1/2 inch along the 7-inch side, and I'm just gonna do the same here. And then we're going to fold along the score lines, and we are going to place 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. So I'm going to start with the bottom pieces. So you basically want to make sure that these 2 are center, and I know it's a little bit hard to see here the edge of the page, but this is the edge of the page, so I'm staying about an 1/8 of an inch away from it, and then I have a little separation in between these 2, and then just the remaining here, which is going to be another 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to start with this one, and so we're just gonna glue this one down here. So I'm placing it about 1/8 of an inch away from the corner on both directions. And then I'm going to do the second piece right here, okay? So we're leaving a little bit of space in between these 2. So then for the top pieces, I'm just going to line it up with the ones on the bottom, and they basically will go right on the line where this corner is, with the point right there, and just about there is where I want to add it. So I'm going to add my glue, and again I'm going to line this up to the bottom, and then kind of go a little bit below the corner here. So I'm just gonna put it a little bit lower, and that's where that one will go. And then I'm going to do this one right there. So the second one's always easier. We're just gonna put it a little bit with a little bit of spacing in between, and right about there. And then you can always close the one on the bottom and make sure that you are lined up. So then we have here our 2 openings on the top and 2 on the bottom, and now we can move on to the next page. So for this next page, we are going to use 1 piece of 7 by 6.5, 1 page of 7 by 6, 7 by 5.5, 7 by 5, and 7 by 4.5. And I'm just going to score at 1/2 inch along of the shortest sides. For example, on this one, I'm going to score along 4.5 at 1/2 inch, and then we're going to score along the 5 inches, and then we're going to do along the 5.5, and so on. Then I'm going to use one of my scrap pieces, and this measures about 7 inches by 2.5, and I'm going to score at 1/2 inch along the 7-inch side. And now we're ready to put this page together. So I'm just gonna fold along the score lines. So now I'm going to add the pieces onto the page. We're gonna add them all on the left side, and we're going to start with the biggest piece. So we're gonna go biggest to smallest, and so we're just gonna add some glue here, and I'm going to line this up with the edge of the page right there, and then I'm just gonna press down, and then I'm going to add the next one. So I'm just gonna put this one again on the same side, and I'm going to add my glue, and then I'm going to line this up right there again. Okay, and then we are going to add the next one And then we're going to use the other smaller piece, and we're gonna add that one on the opposite side, and this is going to be basically the closure for that page. So I'm just going to add my glue right there, and I'm going to add this piece right on the center, and I'm just staying away from the bending line just a little bit, and I'm just gonna press down, and there you go. So now we're done with this page, and we can go ahead and move on to the next one. So for this one, we are going to use a piece of 8.5 by 5.5, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch and at 8 inches along the 8.5 inch side. So then we're going to add this into our book. So I'm just going to add some glue on these two sections here. Okay, so just like that, and then we're just going to place these on the center of the page right there, just like that. It's going to be a little floating belly band, and I say floating because it's not really touching the side here either, because I want these to be centered on the page. And there you go. So now we're going to work on the next two. For the next two, I'm going to cut two pieces here of 8 inches by 7 inches, and we're going to score 1/2 inch along the 8 inch side. So let's go ahead and do that. I have one here and one right there. So then we're going to add one piece on the left side of page number 7, and we're going to add the other piece on the right side of page number 8, and that way we're going to create kind of like mirror pages. And I'm just gonna press down right here, and then we're going to do this one on the other sides. Okay, so again, I'm just gonna line it up here with the edge, just like this, and I'm just gonna press down, and there you go. So now we have these two opening pages. And now let's move on to page number 9. So for this page, I'm going to use two pieces of 5.5 by 8.5, and I'm going to score at 4 inches and 8 inches. And I'm going to do the same for these two pieces. So then we are going to fold along the score line, and I'm ready to add these two pieces here. So we're going to add one on the left and one on the right of the base page, and basically you want your 1/2 inch section to be the one glued to the side. So I'm going to add some glue here, and then we're just going to line this up on the center right there with the side edge, and I'm just gonna press down, and then we're gonna do the same with this one. Now first you want to make sure these two are touching just like that, and that's where you're going to glue these. So I'm going to add my glue just right there, and we're gonna place this down here. Okay, and there you go. So now we have these two gatefold pieces. So I'm just gonna press down. So there you go, we're done with the base structure of our band. I hope you guys enjoy the tutorial. I do have a PDF tutorial available on my website if you want to see step-by-step pictures and cutting guide. So everything will be there. I'm gonna have the link on the description box down below. And I want to thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.